A revolutionary poem, Soft Storm, is composed by Abhi Subedi. The poem is a protest against the bad systems of society. The poem depicts the pathetic condition of people, malpractices, etc. of our Nepalese society. Poem has 8 stanzas. In the first stanza, the poet describes the crowded city and complains about it. He also compares carcasses, the Irish flowering plants, with the sky. He also complains about the posters portrayed on walls as well as the politics which gave us nothing. He explains his softness as a girl, which is just opposite to the idea because girl is never a softness. Here in this stanza, he also talks about the sunless city, that means the city which continued with problems rather than cleaning them. It is just like our society which has continued rather than cleaning, just carrying the problems with them. It has never been cleaned from the history. In the second stanza, he talks about the homeless children in Tamil. They are crying because they have nothing to eat. They are hungry and poor, no one helps them. And the other side is shown as somebody is dancing or enjoying their life with mad steps of dance. It means some people are crying because they have nothing, but instead of helping them, many people like enjoying parties in tall skyscrapers. Children are called the pillar of the nation, but in this poem, they are shown as the pillar of the nation is broken. The poem is also having satire over the politicians who just are family oriented and they don't like helping the common people, and they have promised people that they will remove the poverty, they will give justice, they will remove the hardship of life from the society, but they have forgotten it and they are just enjoying with their mad steps of dance in the tall skyscrapers, and they were become family oriented and people are facing problems because of them. It also talks about the unweighted gardens of history. It means the history has become worsened because of the sufferings, because of the problems which has continued from the long time. It has made our history a bad one. So that he is also requesting us to clean the history, to clean the bad aspects of our history, which has remained uncleaned from the long time. So this stanza is showing the lawless society is running with harshness, and this stanza also depicts the pathetic condition of homeless, poor and hungry people too. In the third stanza, poet talks about the power of pen and paper. As well, he tries to tell us that writing words on paper cannot bring change overnight. And in the same stanza, he also talks about the homeless and sad and forlorn child who is carrying a transistor radio and searching for his mother. This indicates the search for success that happens in our city every day. Many people carry certificates and they keep searching for a good job, good salary and good position, but the system is too busy for us and they don't give any facility, any opportunity to us. He also explains the man who is mercilessly beaten in spite of being guilty. The poet said this time as no sensible time. It means no one cares for nobody and no one is sensible and no one is doing the care of any other person, and he is unhappy with the harsh reality, ignorance and the indifference, and he is also protesting the society having these bad qualities, and he wants these ignorance and indifferences to be away from the society, and he needs a society having no ignorance, having no indifference to each other. In the same way, in the fourth stanza, poet is talking about the war and the class subjection, and he is criticizing them properly. In this stanza, he has given the images like blood-stained shirts and the bruised lips of a man, which shows that our society is full of criminal activities, discriminations and conflicts. And he also talked about the hide and seek The game of hide and seek between the rich people and the poor people is still continuing in nowadays society. The fifth stanza is about the promises made by the governments or the system or the politicians of the country. They always make false promises. They always give us a bad check where the amount is written but we cannot cash them. They never keep and complete their promises. They just say it and they enjoy their life, but they don't care for the people who has given the vote. And so he wants to threaten the system, and he also said if they couldn't keep promises, they would have to be ready for Leela, a kind of divine, a kind of heavenly walk done by the people, which means that removing those type of people from the society is possible if those people keep doing the making the promises and never fulfilling it. And this is a kind of revolution against bad politicians and the political system of the country. Likewise, in the sixth stanza, he is showing positivity, optimism, and he explains how crocuses have grown over the stone. It means revolution has grown over the suppression. When there is suppression, revolution always comes. And he also says that storms are loitered, silenced in the street, where he had cried in rain, observing the misbehaviors of people to their nation. He inherited softness. Poet also wants to share the bitter reality of the street. Many freedom fighters have been killed in the street from the history. It means in the streets of the Kathmandu, many people lost their life while fighting with the government, while fighting with the bad system of the country. And he talked about those type of streets. And he also talks about the sunlight which has made the place bright. Sunshine cannot be silenced. He also talks about his soft storm that was from the silent pages, silent stones, silent word races, destructions of God's property and the courtyard, which has suppressed the freedom and rights of people and buried them. Many kinds of bad things are being done here, and storm is going to public places now, and it can swept. In the same stanza, he also talks about the cultures which are dying. In the seventh stanza of the poem, he is demanding no social restrictions and freedom for all creatures, plants, etc. who live in the earth. We can discuss about the things which he has said, like he talks about so many things. One is he is telling us that he respects the blindness, because people are blind, they do anything, whatever they do, they don't know whether they are right or whether they are correct or whether they are wrong. And he also talked about the new time which is going to weave all people together. And he also mentioned the stones which are growing flowers. It means people are getting change. People are getting revolution over the separation. And he also talked about the moon humming melodies and the history traveling through lampposts, deforested lands, sad songs of the birds, and blooming flowers in the winter season. And all these events made him soft. In the last stanza, poet is talking about few things. One is he wanted to become a rainbow in the hard time of the people, to share some happiness like in colors. And he also said that his soft storm will rise over the sky. There will be no boundaries and there will be a freedom. That kind of things are being mentioned here, including corruption, biasness, political and social inequality, cruelty and destruction of the country. And all things are mentioned inside the poem. And this poem is a kind of revolution. He dislikes the society's stupid and harsh practice. And he also criticized the problems which are prevailing in our society and making our country and making our lifestyle very hard and difficult. And he also complains all the bad practices, all the bad people. Even though the poem is entitled Soft Storm, it means a kind of non-violent revolution, but whatever written inside the poem are not soft. They are just giving us a rage. It just gave us a kind of rage against the bad practices of our society. This poem is protesting all the bad practices, all the bad politicians, and the bad condition as well. The development of country is also linked here. When you see the bad situation of your country, can you be soft? No. That is why the softness is ironical inside the poem. So, we are the soft storm according to poem, because we don't do anything even though we know something bad is happening. We are the reason behind the backwardness of our own country. That is why we are soft storm.